Welcome back. My name is Gillis the Kid. We are back again with my friend Mike and Nick. We're doing another 80s movie horror review. And so let's tell them about what we just seen, which is Demons 2. Came out in 1986. This is actually the first Demon, so if you can find this one, this is what it looks like. This one came out in 85, so you know this a little bit better than me, so let everyone know Demons. So what happened in this movie?
Well, essentially, there's a group of kids. They're on the road in a car headed to wherever they're headed to, and they somehow have car trouble, and they find themselves walking in a back alley, but they don't know that it's actually the movie theater where the first Demons took place. So essentially, the bodies from the first one are the demons from the demons from the first one. Their bodies are actually still littering the ground.
Right.
And the lady, she picks up a mirror, which she accidentally cuts herself, and her blood drips into the mouth of the demon that she's standing over, but she doesn't know it.
So the blood sort of like reanimates the demons.
Right, and revives the demons back to life.
And bring them back together.
Mm-hmm.
So, Demons 2 came out like a year later, in 1986, and then, so Demons 2 basically starts off, there's this girl, Sally, she's having a birthday party. I think her boyfriend, what was her boyfriend name, like Joey?
Joey, yeah.
Yeah. So, she gets pissed at him, and then she runs in her room, and then everyone else is having a party.
Yeah, essentially having the party without the guest of honor,
right.
pretty much.
So basically, they're watching the first Demons.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're watching the first Demons.
But it's actually happening in real life.
Okay.
But they just don't know it at the time.
Right.
Okay. And then, so how the hell did the demon come out of the TV, though? Because in the first movie, the demon comes out of the, like the movie theater.
Well, I essentially see it as they're using the same abilities they use with the movie screen, because essentially a TV basically is a movie screen, but it's just a home version of the movie screen. So it really doesn't take them much effort as superhuman beings to morph through something.
Right.
Especially since they get most of their energy to basically show themselves from the energy from the TV.
So sort of like there was another movie called Shocker, I think it was.
Shocker, with Mitch Pileggi's Horace Pinker.
Yeah,
I love that movie. That was a good movie. I mean, it was a crazy movie, but had its crazy moments.
Because he came out of the TV, like he used the energy.
Yeah,
got himself electrocuted. Yeah, made himself electrocuted, and so then he was able to go inside people's bodies.
Yeah, there's the case for the first one,
right?
So you see
which also co-starred Michael Murphy.
Michael Murphy,
and I forget the main kid who played Jonathan. I forget his name.
Wasn't he like a mechanic or some shit like that?
He was like. Which one, Horace Pinker?
Yeah.
Yes, at the beginning. Because well, actually, I think it was fixing TVs too. I think. Yeah. If I remember. And Jonathan Parker was the football player.
Like a TV repairman or
right,
something like that.
And Parker was the football player.
So essentially, I was kind of shocked to see some of the people from the first Demons that you thought were dead, but they just come back as different characters.
Yeah, so there was the black guy who was a pimp.
Yeah. He was a pimp in the first one, and now he's a gym instructor in this one.
Right, and he always plays like the head, the tough guy.
He acts like he's the leader. He acts like he's the leader, basically.
Yeah.
He's like telling everybody what to do.
Which is good. That's good because if it wasn't for him, they would have been dead long ago.
Yeah,
get behind the cars. Grab anything you can. Grab everything ready.
Yeah, and it's like they just, and I like how they can just move like the cars like they're nothing. I mean, even for people with muscles, like you shouldn't really be able to push cars that easy.
I know, you seem like they're like running and pushing.
It's like they were pushing them and not even putting any effort into it.
They were just like pushing them back.
And then they have his daughter Asia, who I didn't figure out until like near the end because I think she's like 12 years old now.
Yeah. So. But they never said what happened to her. Like last thing we know, she was
locked in the car. The demons or zombies came over. They were all like peeking in. And I think they ran. Well, then they ran away.
Yeah.
And they never went back. Yeah, they never went back to her. So like, what happened?
It was like nobody even bothered to go back for her.
Yeah.
I don't even think the man and the woman knew that she was there. So I mean,
right.
If they didn't know, it's like you really can't blame them because, I mean, they were trying to, she was pregnant and they had their own concerns.
Right. She was going to go into labor.
Yeah.
Which, of course, she did at the end of the movie. Of course, she did. Had the baby. It was a boy.
Yeah.
So they got the walk away happy.
All right.
And start.
So getting back to what reanimates them, it's the blood.
Yeah.
And then so if you get scratched
or bitten,
bitten,
like a vampire, basically.
Yeah.
And then basically you end up turning into one.
And their blood is basically like strong acid. So either which way you think about it, you're pretty much done. So even if the blood gets on you, it can still eat through your skin.
It can still burn you.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I tell you what this movie almost reminds you of too, with the demons coming through the TVs. Remember the movie VHS?
Oh, VHS.
Remember VHS?
Yeah,
Remember
VHS,
that? They were watching the TVs, and then you see that they would come through the screen or come from behind or something, and they kill you.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking about that too. When we were watching that.
Yeah, The Ring did that too.
Did The Ring do that too? Okay, I remember that.
It was
with the girl coming through the TV.
Yeah. I guess they all use like the same energy.
Yeah, familiar. Kind of.
They call it electromagnetic pulse. Yeah.
Right.
That's what they use to morph into. They use the electromagnetic pulses that are flowing through the TV, like the electrical currents.
Yeah. So, and this movie takes place like in a hotel now, or was it a high rise?
Well, yeah, it was a high rise.
Apartment complex or something. Like apartment complex or something. Something like that.
But in the first one, it starts in a theater and then it spreads to the outside to basically that by the end of the first one, the whole town is infected.
Right.
So but in this one.
Well, they tell you in the movie, like, will this happen again? Like, how can we prevent it? And
I mean, I don't even know how they stopped it. All I know is that you never hear about it except on the TV.
Right.
I mean, they probably nuked the whole town or whatever. Who knows?
Sort of like how they did in Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, who were those people in the Jeep?
One of them was Jacob, wasn't it? Wasn't Jacob the one? Remember, he kept waiting. What was it? Her boyfriend? What was it? Joey was waiting for Jacob. Was that her brother? His brother or something? Or?
I think it was her brother.
Yeah, because I kept saying call. Yeah,
because I remember they had a bearded old man with him with a Stetson hat. I think that was his old man, if I can remember correctly.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think he said, "Are you talking about Sally's?"
Yeah, I think
And Jacob was the driver, right? Because he was the one that says, "I never get into an accident."
Yeah, that was.
Was that him? Was that him? Yeah, kept trying to like.
But where was he coming to? Like he was coming to the.
I guess to the party. I guess. Yeah, maybe. I mean, it seemed like it took him a while though. Didn't it?
It took him a long time.
It took like half the movie. Just.
Well, I think he was. Well, I think he was waiting for the guy that upset Sally because remember she said, "I can't believe you invited him to my party." So apparently Sally didn't like him, so he was on his way to go catch him and tell him not to show up.
Right.
When all this happened, but evidently they ended up getting both of him and his girlfriend ended up getting infected anyway, and they basically ended up getting killed by that pregnant lady's boyfriend or husband, whatever he was.
Right.
So, any memorable characters that you can think of? There was the kid.
Oh right, the one that was home alone.
Yeah.
The one thing we never understood, like he's home, parents go out, they just leave him, and he's watching the demons on TV by himself, and there's no one, like no babysitter or nothing.
By himself.
That's a little, like a
to be
little
honest with you,
overfetched.
it's really an all Italian cast because everything's really in Italian. Like the producers, the director, they're all Italian. So.
And you see, eventually he ends up turning into a demon himself.
Yeah.
That's when the ads and that's
the
scene where the little gremlin or monster comes out of his stomach.
Gremlin comes
out, and then
it looked like one of pregnant woman. Like I was saying, it looked like one of those critters type. Because there was a movie Critters. It looked exactly like that because it had the mouth that went like that. With
I think they ended up recycling that for Jason Goes to Hell because you remember when after they kill the one body that Jason possesses, it Like there's this little demon thing that crawls around
it comes.
and infects
It was the cop. It was the cop at the end. Yeah, he comes. It comes out and then it goes in the.
So I think
down
they
the
ended
basement
up,
or something. Yeah,
I think they ended up recycling a lot of that for a lot of other horror movies.
Yeah. And then Jason pops out the end. And Jason goes
The one thing I want to know is what was up with the whole complex, because they have bulletproof glass.
I know.
You couldn't.
That's right. Yeah, because
Remember she said that
there was a couple scenes. The garage when they were in the garage when they kept trying to run the cars.
It seemed indestructible.
Right.
Like you couldn't.
And then the apartment too. I think I don't know if it was the pregnant one where a couple of people were trying to get out, and the door, the windows were like unbreakable or something. And it was like weird.
I mean, I'm sure.
Security,
I'm sure. Like if you really want to go into it, you'll find something that'll fully explain it more. But I think it could be explained that. It could have been a bad neighborhood that they were living in or something like that.
That's what I thought. I thought it was like a bad neighborhood, and they made the place like
security complex.
Or because of what happened the first time. Maybe they were afraid.
Yeah, they basically prepared for that.
So,
I think. What I don't understand is they had security there, but they never showed what happened to the security. I'm guessing the security just hauled ass when they found out what happened.
Yeah, because the one security guy, remember, kept seeing he kept calling on the phone and everything.
Yeah,
I can't remember. Did he just disappear?
No,
I forgot what
died.
happened. Did he die?
Yeah.
I can't remember. He did die.
Yeah, he died.
Yeah, cause
I know there were more in there, but I think the rest of them just hauled ass. Like after he died, like they just left him.
A bit bolted out. Let's get out of here.
And they just like locked the whole building up where nobody could get out.
Get in or get out.
Oh my god.
Which is pretty stupid, but just movie plot lines.
Yeah.
They had the marry the prostitute with the guy, because they gotta have characters.
Yeah.
So, but she wasn't really important.
Yeah, she was
She
just
only had like that one scene.
Yeah. Then he pulls her out of the freaking elevator, and she's like a demon.
And she becomes a demon. Yeah.
Which, to be honest with you, I don't ever remember her either ever getting bit or any blood getting on her. Not
well, she did. Well, he did. The demon did grab her. He grabbed her by the hair. And,
he scratched her.
He's like pulling her back or something. She kept falling back, and then after a while, then finally she got infected. Obviously,
it's the same thing that happened with Sally after she came out of the room. She latched a hold of the guy's arm and
her birthday, right? She blew out the candle, and all of a sudden,
that's right. Sally
she
was the one who made at least like 8 demons.
Right. Yeah.
Just on that party alone.
Thing, yeah. She was on. Hey, remember she called the guy. The guy finally kept looking like, "What are you doing?" Finally, I was scared.
The nails and
the nails kept going. So help me.
But the nails also served on. Like if you look real closely, you could see like she had like little needles and hoses like going up her fingers, where she basically needed more blood to fully transform.
Right.
So that's why she did that.
Right. That's weird.
The scene with remember the dog. Oh my god, the scene with the dog.
The
dog got infected.
Which in the first one, if you watch it, they really didn't have to do all that. It was just a mask that they put on, and the mask basically just scratched your face. So basically, if you had the cut on your face, you were already infected.
Right. And then and
then afterwards, they would either bite you or scratch you, and it would infect you from there.
Yeah, I forgot about that mask.
I don't know how I remember that after all these years. That must have been like 2009. That must have been like over 6 years, maybe longer. And I still remember that movie.
Right. Yeah, so, so then after there was the dog, and the dog, I think, killed that one lady.
The owner, basically.
Yeah. Killed the owner. And
the dog got infected because of the blood.
The blood, it was coming up the ceiling. Yeah, it kept coming down, and
I think he licked it or something.
Yep.
Something I know they didn't show. I don't know if they showed him licking him. I don't know if it's him or her licking the blood, but eventually she kept barking, and then finally saw him transform.
But the thing is, like their blood is basically acid. So basically, whatever it touches, it'll eat through it, regardless if it's steel, concrete, whatever.
Yeah, it burnt through the concrete and the steel.
I mean, I'm surprised that building didn't collapse.
Well, then it got past the concrete, and I think it hit the wires.
Yeah, and it basically knocked out the
power. Yeah.
But if they had the power, then they could probably have turned on the lights and basically just ended it right there. But if they had done it that way, you wouldn't have had a movie.
Right. I mean, it's one of those movies where everything took place in like that garage and maybe like
and the same night.
And the same night.
And there's been movies that take place in the same night, like Killer Clowns from Outer Space. That took place in one night. Halloween 2 that took place in one night.
Yeah.
So,
both movies.
They all took place in the same night.
And I like it because it's directed by like a brilliant Italian like horror director.
Yeah. Dario Argento, and it had his daughter Asia Argento in there too. And
I think she was in the first one, wasn't she? I think
I don't know if she was in the first one.
Because she would have been like really young.
Yeah, she would have been really young.
So I don't think she was.
Yeah.
Because I think the first one was made 82.
The first Demons was 85.
Yeah, 85, and this one was
86.
Yeah, so it was only basically a 2 to 4 year difference.
All right.
So yeah, she probably would have been old enough, but there really wouldn't have been a scene for her to be in. So
yeah, I would have to look that up. So then we had last but not least, there was I think it was Hannah and her boyfriend. Hannah was pregnant.
Yeah,
and
which I was actually hoping she wouldn't have died because she was pregnant and her being pregnant, then that would have went on to the baby.
It affected the baby.
Right.
And, I know that in horror movies you have to pretty much be basically like stone cold, but I just don't think Dario Argento was that stone cold enough to do that.
There's always a couple like you want to root for.
Yeah.
And that was them.
Yeah.
So
at first I thought that he wouldn't have made it. But then I was, kind of glad that he did because I found out that his wife was pregnant.
Yeah, the first time I seen that, I'm like, something's gonna happen to him, and then she's gonna be left alone.
Yeah.
But
she was, and the thing is, she was by herself for a while when she was running away from the little monster. She was in the apartment by herself for like five minutes or so, and then he finally Bart came in.
I'm actually surprised she managed to take that demon kid on by herself.
Yeah, right.
Knowing that she was about to give birth.
Yeah.
She literally ran through a whole apartment, and it looked like that she wasn't even pregnant. I was like, and that's not bad for a woman who's about to go into labor.
Yeah, because he left to get her like food or something.
That's what I said. He was gone for like 5-10 minutes, and she was by herself that whole time, running around the whole apartment, running around in her room.
I think you had to go down to the bottom floor to even get food, because that's how he met the prostitute in the elevator.
Okay.
Like he had to catch the elevator down to get her food and then come back up. Because they got stuck in the elevator and then he had to climb up to even get back in the apartment.
But what I liked was that he actually was willing to. She's like, "Don't leave me," and then he was actually willing to pick her up and bring her up. But when he did, she was already a fully turned demon. He just pushed her back down.
Yeah.
What I thought was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both climbing up. It was like a race. It was like a race. They're both climbing up, and then finally
that was the funny part.
What I also liked was that when he kicked her down, she fell like I'd have to say it was at least like 7 stories back to the elevator. And
then she came.
And when the elevator was going up, she would stop.
And she came back.
Yeah,
remember she came back. Since he got because he got to when he got to the top. Yeah, all of a sudden she just about
because every other demon they threw off. He threw a demon all the way down to the steps, and it just died and bled to death. Yeah. But when he did it with her, it was like it didn't even phase her.
She's more powerful than we thought.
Yeah,
a powerful demon.
Well, actually, I thought that would.
Could they like mimic voices though?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. Remember the kid?
Yeah. He did. Let me. My mom left me by myself. Yeah, she would over the door.
Because they basically all they do is just possess the body.
Okay.
So basically, when they possess the body, they got the vocal cords in there still.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not to confuse you, but this is the second one, and this is a completely different series. It's Night of the Demons 2. So some people get this movie confused with Demons.
Yeah, don't get it confused with Night of the Demons.
Yeah. So there's Demons, Demons 2, which we watched.
Yeah.
And then there's like Night of the Demons, which features a girl called Angela.
Angela, yeah. Angela King, I think.
Because this was your first time seeing Demons 2.
Yes, it was.
So.
And there's 2 demon movies. There's, I think, at least 3 Night of the Demon movies. There's a reboot, but I'm not really sure about reboots nowadays. So, And then there's also one called Suspiria.
Oh yeah, so they're actually remaking this movie. So this is going to be coming out in theaters pretty soon. Suspiria, again another movie by Dario Argento, but this one came out in I think it was like 1977. So
Right. So it was before Demons and all that.
yeah, and these movies, they were brutal, like gore, like full of gore, and
Yeah, they actually showed you getting hacked up. So.
yeah, that's the original. That's what the DVD looks like. Suspiria. That's gonna be coming out in theaters pretty soon. Yeah.
Yeah, they're remaking that.
Yeah. So basically, what was his name? What was Hannah's boyfriend name? I forget.
Yeah, me too.
But anyway, they
Joey?
survived.
Joey?
It might have no.
Wasn't Joey?
Wasn't Joey.
Joey?
I'm gonna drop all the names and stuff down into the description, so you'll be able to actually look at all the characters and stuff.
Right.
But
yeah, the ones you're talking about the ones that survived, right? The one that she had the baby in.
well, yeah, they were the only two.
They were the only two remaining, right?
But that room that they were in, the one with all the weird sounds, like I kind of seriously thought something weird was going to happen in there, like after when she was giving birth.
Right.
Yeah.
And you saw the girl demon was on the one screen.
Yeah.
Looked, she was about ready to come into the
She was about ready to reanimate into the world.
And then he was ready. He grabbed like a hammer and axe, and he started smashing all the TVs. No.
When they die, they go back to the world which they were in. So when he killed Sally, she tried to reanimate herself back into the world, and he essentially smashed all the TV screens, so she couldn't come back in, which I thought was a good move on their behalf.
Right, he was smart. Yeah.
Because
how did he know how to
go
do
through that
though?
experience again?
How did he know how to do that?
I guess it was just
instinct.
He just figured she was going to come in the screen, so he figured, well, let me break the TV screen.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. He was watching he was watching the show too, and that she said come eat dinner, and he left to go eat dinner.
Yeah.
Then,
they were all watching the show.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think that kid was a little more into it.
Yeah, because he was
that little kid that his wife killed. I think he was a little more into it than anybody else.
Right. Yeah.
He was serious. So then so after TV smash, the baby was born, and then they walked away.
So what kills these demons?
Life, so.
Is it like daylight, or because a couple people just stabbed them though?
Yeah, I think they're almost like
and then
I think it was like a mixture. I think the fire. Because when they were in the garage, there was essentially a fire, and when Sally went towards it, she screamed and just put her hands up like that and just ran away. So I'm guessing the fire essentially makes them a little weak.
Okay.
Because it's essentially like a generic light.
Okay.
And the one scene too where they were they were trying. Remember, like 4 or 5 times to get two of the zombies were getting ran over the garage door. They kept pulling back, and he did like 4 or 5 times, and they finally.
And then there was Hank with
the shotgun,
and the bullets around. Like, where did he find that?
I mean, he put up a good fight.
The shotgun. I know, that's the question.
In the end, I mean, there's no answer for where the shotgun.
The shotgun, yeah. Like, I don't know. He just had it.
Yeah, it was just in the trunk of somebody's car. I don't know why they'd be driving around with a shotgun in their trunk, but
right.
I mean, I had it to There was a couple people that put up a good fight, but in the end, it just wasn't enough. There was just too many demons. Yeah. Like Asia's. We'll just call her Asia because we don't know her real name. We'll just say the director's name. We'll just say the director's daughter, the guy that was supposed to be her father. I think that was a good thing he did. Essentially, he just sacrificed himself to make sure that she lived.
Yeah.
I mean, he put up a good fight, but in the end, he just got overwhelmed.
Yeah. And then you just see all the demons
converge on her and then run away because of the fire that started.
Right, that's what we were saying earlier. We couldn't understand when they all ran. Yeah, they were watching her and then they took off. So what was the
because she was the gist of that? She was the only one that they didn't show die.
Yeah.
So if the fire didn't kill her, then it's how the hell would she even get out of that
Yeah, they like.
garage.
I mean,
That's what you're saying.
I guess that's a loose end that I guess they just didn't care to explain, or just you might find out like maybe there's like a deleted scene or something.
Yeah,
in
she
the
finally gets
movie
that. Maybe
might
she gets out of the
explain
car.
it,
Yeah. Oh, the coast is clear. I guess
Yeah.
I'll. All right. I guess I'll go home. And you just you're running away or something. Who knows?
Most of these movies, you know, they were like the uncut versions.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, essentially the uncut versions they just show everything.
They show
They just
everything, all the
I mean, they'll
bruises,
basically
yeah.
see you getting like hacked alive, and
Yeah.
just like with the Wrong Turn series.
Right.
There's like director's cuts and
Right.
you know everything else, but you know
Well,
I
you
prefer
know.
the director's cut because that's basically where all the
There's other
yeah
countries that just like they view that as like hell no, like we're not
Yeah.
showing that.
and then you know it just leads them to leave some like scenes on the cutting room floor.
Right.
Because sometimes they got to cut a movie for like running time for theaters because movie theaters won't allow a movie to go over. I think like years ago it was like 2 hours. Now I think it's like 3 hours.
Yeah.
They won't allow a movie to go over that.
Yeah. I was gonna say because like Interview with the Vampire was like a good 3 hours.
Yeah.
So.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah. So I mean, what would you rate this movie? Demons and Demons 2, like what would you give it, like 1 out of 10?
I think it's tied with me. I'd have to give it like I'd have to say a 9.5 because essentially it didn't explain what happened to the director's daughter. If it explained that and you actually saw her walking away, I'd give it a good 10.
Right. I don't think they made a Demons 3 though. It was just one or two. It was just 1 and 2. It was Night of the Demons that they sort of ran away with it.
Yeah.
It's
I guess it was. I guess they would have to say it's. Looking at the covers, I'd have to say it's within the same realm of possibility.
Yeah.
But you know, with these, it was more or less an Americanized version of Demons.
Right.
I'd have to say.
Yeah, Dario Argento, you know, he makes like these really, cool murder mysteries. They're brutal, but
yeah.
you know, they're good movies. So.
But it's just that a lot of the stuff's not realistic. Like the blood, like when they got hacked up, it's like sort of like the blood was. It wasn't like a dark red color,
Right.
Like blood is. It was kind of like a light red.
Right. Yeah, the special effects.
Yeah, the special effects
Right.
weren't
In the
really there.
80s.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we always get a kick out to the music in the movie.
Yeah.
It was like the 80s music.
That
some
retro,
songs,
that retro 80s dance club music.
Dance club music or little metal music
like
on some of the scenes.
the dance club metal music.
Yeah, that's what we were getting a kick out of.
It was weird, but it's good music.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Good music.
Yeah.
80s music.
Yeah, we'll probably do some more
Yeah.
Dario Argento movies.
Oh, we got
It'll definitely be.
I mean, there's plenty.
There's
of
a
them.
lot of horror movies we can
Yeah.
talk about. Believe me, in the future.
Yeah,
We'll get to them.
He made a lot of good movies, so you know.
Yeah, I gotta try to. I didn't really read the whole Wikipedia entry on him last night when I googled him, but I know he's got a nice record.
Yeah.
With the industry. So.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, many of them are in Italian, so even if we did watch them, we probably really wouldn't understand them. We'd have to put the subtitles on, but that probably wouldn't be enough.
Right. Yeah, I didn't even know I had Suspiria. Like I thought I sold it, but I found it. There it is. So we, when the remake come out, we can go see
You
that.
see that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, first we'll see this one because I don't think you ever seen
I
that,
never
but
seen it,
And he also
I got
collaborated.
catching up- I
He
got
also
catching up to
collaborated
do.
with the music on this one.
Right.
It says it right here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I didn't read the whole
That's
Wikipedia
all right.
entry on the guy, so I gotta look at the back of the boxes.
That's what I'm saying. Like I said before, I'll have catching up to do on some of these these movies, so I didn't see them.
Yeah, a lot of good movies coming out.
Yeah.
But that's all I got. That was Demons 2 in a nutshell.
Yeah.
So, all these movies that he made, it centers around. It's not like from location to location or nothing like that. That's most of his movies is he picks like an area or just one location and that's it, and you just work with it.
Yeah, like it was a movie theater. The first one.
They're not high budget movies.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know how it spread in the first one. That's probably something that I would have to either rewatch the movie or look it up. But I know in the first one it's spread outside, and if they were in the movie theater and there was nobody got out.
Yeah, it was like an alternate universe too, because everything was boarded up and like remember where the door and then the door turned into a wall and they was like, hey, there was a door here.
Yeah,
and then it just
then there was like a board there. Yeah,
so
but when they went in there, it was like the movie theater. There was no board there. It was like an open movie theater, right. And so basically it was like you said, the alternate universe where nothing's as it appears to be.
Right. Because this one, he changed it up. In this movie, they just could not get out.
Yeah, period.
It was just...
I mean, like, everything. It looked like it was just, like, solid steel, just, like molded into the concrete.
That's what I'm saying, too, about that whole place. It's like that all the windows, it's like, it was almost like a security complex, the way it looked. Yeah. Same thing in the garage. Like I said, the windows, it's like you could not escape in there. It's crazy.
The only thing they didn't have was like bars on the windows. That would have made it even more like secure.
Right. It's like in Nightmare on Elm Street. Remember the first one with Nancy? Remember the mother? She put the bars on the windows. Like, what was that first one? Nancy couldn't get out. So.
Yeah. Well, all these movies, they sort of, took elements from each other.
Right.
So
they basically like mirrored each other.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like basically like. In a different universe, they were probably walking through where the movie theater was, and that's basically what I noticed about that scene. Like, because I noticed how they parked the car, and it was the same car that those punk rocker kids got out of, and then they just found their way into the theater. So basically, the theater just somehow it just blew up after. I don't know how, but the movie theater just basically blew up and. Basically, there was like steel and wood all over the place. Right. Yeah, that was so. They really didn't go into details on that. So,
but I mean, Demons 2 was probably like my favorite.
Yeah.
Out of better than the first one. So,
well, my guess is he probably got a bigger budget for a lot of his movies because sometimes he has to go through movie companies just to get money or funding just to make your movie.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get movies. Sometimes they release movies that don't even go into theater. Like with the Child's Play movies.
Right.
The last couple of recent ones, they came straight out to DVD and Blu-ray. The Curse.
I think they came straight to Netflix.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They weren't in the theater. Like
that's how you know a movie that didn't really get a big budget.
I mean, I think it was after they did. It was after either Seed or Chucky. I think that might, and then they did the Curse of Chucky, the Cult. They were all ones that came straight out to.
Plus, it all depends on the director too, like the writer and the director. I mean, I know like Wes Craven, all his horror movies were like beautiful, like Scream in the '90s, where a lot of people thought horror had died out. Yeah. But Wes Craven brought it back with the Scream movies.
Yeah. And it's hard to believe we're talking about Shocker. It's hard to believe that he directed a movie Shocker. That's also kind of.
Or M. Night Shyamalan. He's another good director. But he's kind of like Dario Argento. He kind of makes like creepy let's get into the mind of our of the killer type of movie.
And John Carpenter doing Halloween, and he did The Thing from 1982. That's a good movie we can talk about in the future. Yeah. Kurt Russell, that's a good one. That's a good movie. Gory movie, but good movie. So
yeah, all his movies was like serial killer. Well, not all of them, but it focused around like the perspective of the serial killer. So
yeah, it kind of like puts you into into like basically they put you into the boots of the killer, like their mindset, like what they're thinking when they're about to commit it and stuff like that.
Yeah, it gets you thinking after you watch the movie.
Yeah,
like once you leave the theater, you're like, oh damn, like that's creepy. So
and even the simplest little detail about like the things that the killer takes from their victim. Like some killers take jewelry, some take the shoes, and then they mail it to another victim, and you really don't get the whole point of it, but after that particular victim is dead, then you pretty much go like, oh, okay, I know why the killer did that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing about those kind of movies. Towards the end, the pieces come together, it all ties in, and then that's when you find out like, so he's the guy, and it all leads in, and you find out who it is and all.
Or with the Friday the 13th movies, you get like another that's technically to me that's another supernatural movie, because Jason is basically a supernatural being. Bullets can't hurt him, weapons can't hurt him. You know what I mean? The only thing he
didn't start out that way.
No.
But then, as soon as he started like uppercutting people's heads off and like the army,
I think he did that in Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yeah.
That's we talked about the movie, with Julius. He told him to take your best shot. Yeah, he grabbed him by his popped his head right off.
And then there was like Jason Go to Hell when the army or the FBI
when he got blown up,
they ambush him and shoot him.
That's when he found out, and that's when the guy when he goes, I don't think so. It's like he's not dead yet.
Yeah.
There was another interesting character in that movie. I think that's actually the first horror movie where Morgan Freeman stars in it. Remember as remember that guy that he was like the top.
Was it Morgan Freeman?
Yeah, it was like the top. He was like the top-notch supernatural killer. I think demon killer in his field.
Oh, I know you're talking about. No, that wasn't.
Was it Morgan Freeman?
That wasn't Morgan Freeman.
What, Jason Goes to Hell?
Yeah.
It was.
Remember, he was the black guy. Remember, he was the one.
That's what we're just talking. That's what we're just talking about.
Yeah.
I don't think that was.
No, that was someone else.
That wasn't Morgan Freeman.
I know who you're talking about, though.
Yeah. That's what we're saying, because he knew we kept saying he knew he wasn't dead.
Yeah.
But that wasn't Morgan Freeman though. I forget his name.
In the movie, his name was Creighton Duke.
Creighton Duke.
Is that his name? Creighton Duke.
Yeah, Creighton Duke. He was.
He had the dagger.
He was. He was like the guy that basically like you call in when you can't do it yourself.
Right.
And I didn't even know Jason had relatives. I didn't even know he had a sister, a brother, a niece, any of that. I mean, that's like something else that they brought up in that movie.
Yeah, they probably just made like a
because that's when he found out the only way Voorhees can die is if a Voorhees relative kills him.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess it's possible he could have family.
Yeah.
Or cousins or whatnot.
And he was supposed to be scared of the water, but yet he was always killing people in the water, and I never understood that.
That's where it's talking
like if he was supposed to have drowned and he's scared of water, like why the hell would you even want to go near the water?
Yeah, that's
fear of it.
And that's something we're talking about too. Remember in part 6? Remember with Tommy when he kept calling over, Jason, it's me. You come and get me. And he was walking, and he did. He walked in the water. And then he jumped out of the water, grabbed him, he set him on fire, and that's when he put the chain on him, and he drowned under. Well, he didn't. Technically, he wasn't dead, but he was underneath the water with the ball and chain around his neck.
Well, the one girl with the telekinesis powers, she was the one that. She was the one that broke the chain.
Right, to bring him back.
And then he floated back.
Because she thought she was bringing back her dad.
Right.
And she brought back the wrong person. But although at the end she did bring it back at the
He's basically the one that dragged Jason back
in the water. Yeah, put the chain around and then of course leading into Jason Takes Manhattan, where it picks up where it left off in the water. And then
the three people that I think are most good, and I think one of them might really be dead in the movie universe. You got Laurie Strode, Tommy Jarvis, and Nancy Thompson.
Yeah.
And I think Nancy Thompson might be dead in the Friday the 13th. I mean, in the Nightmare universe. Yeah. So I think she might be, or she could have faked her death. Who knows?
Right. And don't forget.
Randy Meek from Scream.
And don't forget too, Lisa Wilcox, who played Alice. She was in part 4 and 5.
Yeah.
And she lived.
Alice.
And that was pretty much it for her.
Yeah, right.
Well, especially in the
ice pick through the temple.
Yes. Well, the thing is, I didn't really believe this when I first seen it. It was Freddy's dead. I didn't even know Freddy had kids.
Right, part 6.
Because because technically he was a pedophile who enjoyed basically murdering kids.
Right.
Well, that makes sense because he probably raped some girl and had kids.
I think he did.
Well, he was bullied. That's what we were saying before too. He was bullied as a kid, and that's as he got older, then he started killing kids.
I just felt sorry for that hamster that he killed.
Yeah.
And then they tormented him like because technically he was basically the bastard child of a nun.
Right, Amanda Kruger.
Yeah. Which is also messed up in itself because she literally got raped by like 1,000 male inmates.
That's how Freddy was born. That's what we were talking about.
1,000 maniacs.
And that's how she gave birth to him. Yeah, she was raped by all those maniacs. Yeah. And if you remember too, speaking of the maniacs, I don't know if you remember the beginning of Part 5, you see Robert Englund without the makeup on as one of the maniacs. Keep that in mind if you remember that. You see him just walking around. You just walk around and you see him. I always get and even
I always get a kick out of seeing the stars walk around without their makeup.
Or Part 2, Freddy's Revenge, when he's driving the bus at the beginning. You see him driving the bus without the makeup on too. That's Robert Englund too. Before he becomes Freddy on the bus, that's actually Robert Englund driving the bus. You see him.
I think he also starred in a movie too called Son of 1,000 Maniacs. I think it was another Rob Zombie movie, if I'm not mistaken. Where he
I'm
was
just
like,
glad Rob Zombie's not making any more Halloween movies.
Yes, indeed. Agreed. Yeah, the last two were just putrid. Don't waste your time on that.
See, my thing is, if you're gonna. My thing is, I seen the reboot of the Friday the 13th, and I really didn't like it. And I think it was simply because it didn't have Robert Englund in it. And my thing is, like, if you're gonna do a reboot of anything, I don't care what you do or who you get. You gotta have Robert Englund if you're talking about Freddy Krueger.
Gotta have the original.
Yeah, if you're gonna do Jason, you gotta have Kane Hodder.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because to me, those guys are those characters.
Right, exactly. Kane Hodder, he played Jason 4 times.
Yeah.
He played him in 7, 8, 9, and 10.
And Robert Englund played Freddy Krueger throughout the entire series. Yeah.
Between that, the Freddy's Nightmare TV show Robert Englund did that. Yep. And then of course the Nightmare show from 2010, which was Jackie Earle Haley.
Yeah.
So and that was.
But I think they just did that just to give it more of a young, youthful feel, because that's basically who they were going for.
Right. Well, that's what we were saying too. We talked about this before. I think they were trying to make him more mysterious, and kind of a little more scary.
Like they did in the first Nightmare.
Yeah,
in the first Nightmare, they very rarely ever showed him.
That's what made it good. Yeah. It was just like a shadow or a silhouette.
And then the second one, they made him a little more supernatural. Technically, because he killed him in the first one, so he was basically trying to come back, but he couldn't physically come back.
Right.
So he just used Jesse as a living body to carry out his work.
Part 2.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that was neat too, because he basically came back into the real world too. Because remember they weren't asleep. He was actually, they would see he was in the real world when he was killing them too.
Yeah. And then in Freddy's Dead, they actually showed that. Yeah, it might be bad because you're in a dream with Freddy, but you could actually control what you do in your own dream.
Right.
Because like when they're beating the crap out of him, it kind of like took him by surprise. But then he knew that it was their dream, but it was technically his rules, and that's basically the way it went.
That's funny because he actually says that too.
Yeah.
He said it's your dream, but it's my rules. And of course, he came back in reality. She brought him back out. She held him and brought him back out, and of course, he got blown up.
Technically, technically, it was the same way with Freddy. Technically, only a Krueger relative could destroy that personal, enemy.
So I'm wondering, if they're gonna remake Suspiria, and I guess they have to get Dario Argento's permission.
Approval, yeah.
So
I think
do you think they're gonna remake Demons or something like that?
I hope not. I hope if they do, they stick with kind of the same formula. They don't go all over like they do now.
Right. Because it can't be like an open wide plot. It's got to be somewhere contained where, or they can do it like what was that movie where all the zombies, it was like an outbreak on an island. They can do that, maybe like Demons 3.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Which I highly doubt. I mean, if they were going to do a Demons 3, they would have probably.
I just wonder why they picked Suspiria and not something that you can make another story from, like Demons.
Or Night of the Demons. Yeah. Since they already got like 3 of them, they probably could have done a 4th.
Yeah. Well, only time will tell.
But then again, you're talking about the 90s, and I think the last Night of the Demons was made in 97, 98. And by that time, the Scream movies had pretty much run their course. Yeah. They killed my boy Randy, which I'm still pissed about.
Yeah, it was complete. The 90s was completely. It was completely different because they moved from good plot to just like kill.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Plus,
just kill teenagers, and and you got a movie.
Yeah, and plus, I guess a lot of companies stopped really financing a lot horror movies in the 90s.
Yeah.
That's why a lot
Yeah.
of the movies didn't really have that same kick to them.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got. We'll probably be back with some more. We'll figure out what we're gonna do.
Or if you guys have any suggestions, just leave it
Yeah.
in the comments section.
Comment below.
We'll get back to you.
Requests. We'll take requests.
Yeah,
basically.
we take essentially.
We'll take
yeah.
requests.
It'll be 2019 when we get back together because of the holidays. So.
Yeah.
Right. Merry Christmas.
Maybe
everyone.
if all goes well, we might even think about reviewing maybe The Walking Dead, because I guess that falls in the horror category.
Yeah.
Essentially, the show's still technically on in its ninth season, so.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got. I want to thank you guys for watching. We will be back. If we don't see you, have a happy holidays.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to you all.
And a happy
Merry
New
Christmas.
Year.
All right, Happy New Year.
And
Happy holidays, whatever you celebrate.
happy holidays.
Yeah,
Yep.
Happy Hanukkah.
And, I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe.